Muy buenos días. Welcome to the Roberto Clemente Memorial Bridge. Buenas tardes, don Victor. ¿Cómo está? Come on in closer, guys. We're all family today. We're all family. For me, it's an honor and privilege. I'm State Representative Geraldo Reyes, and this is something that we've been working on for quite a few years. We needed two things to happen. First, we needed permission from the city of Waterbury to be able to put this on a city street. That was taken care of by the Honorable Mayor Neil Ellen Moleri. Second thing that we needed was, that's not enough, because we're going over a state road. So the legislature voted unanimously in honor of the Clemente family to name this bridge the Roberto Clemente Memorial Bridge. The way it's going to be marked on I-84, traveling west, down here in front of the Timex Museum, there'll be a sign there stating the name of this bridge. And the same thing traveling west, right over here on Franklin Street near Maloney, will be the second sign. Right behind us, we'll do the unveiling of the third sign. And for us, it's a privilege and an honor, as proud Puerto Ricans, proud Hispanics, proud Americans, that we are able to do this here in the great city of Waterbury. We're the first to do it. We're the first ones to do this. You should be very proud of everything that we've done here. I will turn this over right now to our Master of Ceremony, the Executive Director of the Hispanic Coalition, which is one of the partners under this particular project, Mr. Victor Lopez.
Mi gente! Wow, what a day. It is very emotional to stand here, but it's also very empowering. You know, when you have a dream and you start having chats and talks and discussions, and then that day finally arrive, I cannot believe that today, finally, we welcome the Roberto Clemente family, and we are officially standing on the Roberto Clemente Memorial Bridge. I'm going to be very brief. I've been asked many questions and many times, what is it about renaming a bridge, right? Well, first of all, by renaming this bridge, or naming this bridge, we recognize the legacy of Roberto Clemente. But further than that, Roberto Clemente was not just a phenomenal baseball player. Just having discussions today of people that witnessed his just amazing performance as a baseball player. But he went above and beyond that, and he left us the message that although he was a great baseball player, he was better at serving other people. He carried in his shoulders the little island of Puerto Rico, and today we carry him, his legacy, his humble behavior, and honor him and respect him forever, naming this bridge. So I'm excited, as you can probably tell, to finally, I'm going to drive every day through this bridge going to work, and from my office, I will see this bridge named Roberto Clemente. On the other side, I hope that every child, every person that crosses this bridge, everyone who drives through this bridge, sees that sign there and either say, man, I remember Roberto Clemente, or I wonder what Roberto Clemente did that his name is on this bridge. So it's an honor to be here, an honor to welcome the family, and it's an honor to welcome our Honorable Mayor, Neil O'Leary.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. What a magnificent day. What an honor it is to have the Clemente family here with us today in the city of Waterbury to dedicate this bridge in memory of their father, Mr. Roberto Clemente. As we know, Roberto Clemente is a baseball legend, Latin American, the first Latin American to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. He was inducted in 1973, the year after his absolutely tragic death, as on December 31st of 1972, on New Year's Eve, Roberto Clemente died doing the people's work. He was in an airplane providing relief and aid to Nicaragua, and his plane tragically went down. And I don't know about you guys, but whenever something extraordinary and tragic happens, not only do you remember the event, you remember where you were, you remember the reaction of your family, and I remember where I was. I was at our home with our family celebrating New Year's Eve, and I remember my father and my uncle whispering, and I remember the news came out. We were a baseball family, and I remember the news came out as we were gathered around the table, and I remember the reaction of my uncle, who was a tremendous baseball fan, and I had never seen him that shaken up. I was a freshman in high school at that time. Roberto Clemente was a member of the 3,000 hit club, obtaining his 3,000 hit in 1972, the last game of the year. He was the 11th player to reach that milestone. He played for the Pittsburgh Pirates. As we can see, the Pirates are represented very well here. He led the Pirates to the World Series in 1960 as their most valuable player, 12 straight Golden Glove Awards. He led the Pirates to the World Series in 1971, again as their most valuable player. During Clemente's off seasons, he was involved with charity work and delivered food and baseball equipment to those in need. As I mentioned, he was killed in a plane crash on December 31st, 1972, at the age of 38. Vera and Roberto Clemente had family who lived right here in Waterbury. Today, he would have been 88 years old. It has been 50 years since his death. We are celebrating this and honored to have Luis Clemente, Roberto's son, with us here, and other family members. But I just want to take a moment to talk about how we got here. I know Representative Reyes spoke briefly of it as well. And I know how beautiful it is out, and it's not hot at all, so you guys might let me indulge in another 2 minutes or so. But with us is Janine Lupo, who is representing Congresswoman Johanna Hayes, who is not with us today because she's down in Washington, D.C. One of the primary sponsors of this event, in addition, of course, to Geraldo Reyes, was a fellow by the name of George Tirado. George Tirado was a teacher here in the city of Waterbury for about 40 years. I don't think there's anyone standing on this bridge who didn't know George Tirado and doesn't know his son, George Tirado Jr., who was a member of the Waterbury Police Department for many years. We worked together. It was George Tirado Sr., it was Jerry Reyes, and of course it was our alderman, Victor Lopez, who chartered this course to get this done. And I give tremendous credit to all three of them. Also with us today are some aldermen and alderwomen, including Belinda Weaver, Alderwoman Sandra Martinez McCarthy. We have Mike Salvio, Alderman Mike Salvio is here with us. And of course we have Alderman Vernon Matthews, who is here with us. And if there's anyone else here that I didn't recognize from the board, I apologize. We have a number of other elected officials and appointed officials for this from the city of Waterbury. This is a very great day for the city of Waterbury. Just to give a tiny bit more history of the Hispanic community in the city of Waterbury. When I went on the police department in 1980, at that time they estimated that there was about 10,000 Hispanic families in the city of Waterbury, and the Hispanic population in the school district represented about 8 or 9 or 10% at that point. Well, here we are today in 2022 with 19,000 students in the Waterbury public school system, and the Hispanic community represents 60% of those 19,000 students here in the city of Waterbury. So it is indeed an honor, not only to recognize, of course, Roberto Clemente, a hero, a charity-driven man at the young age of 38, a Hall of Famer, a man who achieved more in his tender age of 38 than most achieve in their entire lifetime in Major League Baseball. And we're here to celebrate his life, his impact on the Latin American community, especially here in the city of Waterbury. And we're here to honor and respect his family, especially Louis, who is standing right behind me to my right. We have two things to offer. One is a citation from the city of Waterbury, which I pretty much said all that was contained within. Most importantly, we save this for very special and honored guests and families. And I take this time now to present a key to the city to Mr. Louis Clemente. Thank you. We're real honored to see you. Big fan of yours, man.
This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Without further ado, I'll pass the microphone back. I just want to thank all of you for being here today, and take a look just for a second up at that cross and say a prayer for everyone in Waterbury today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor O'Leary. Thank you. Without further ado, I'm going to bring up Representative Congresswoman Johanna Hayes' office, Ms. Janine Lupo, a friend of the community. Ms. Janine Lupo, please come on up. Congresswoman Hayes' office, please.
Hello, everybody. What a beautiful day for this event. First and foremost, I want to thank Representative Reyes, Alderman Lopez, and Mayor O'Leary for getting this incredible accomplishment over the finish line. And as Mayor O'Leary mentioned, Congresswoman Hayes is fighting for the 5th District and the City of Waterbury every single day, ensuring that she brings federal resources back to the City of Waterbury, whether it's for public education students or to remediate green spaces. Congresswoman Hayes is fighting every single day for her constituents. It was very important to Congresswoman Hayes that her district office be located downtown Waterbury on Bank Street. It was also important to her to make sure that we had bilingual caseworkers to help all of our constituents with access to the IRS, access to Veterans Administration, access to Social Security Administration. And we have bilingual resources. So should anybody who is a 5th District constituent need help with a federal agency, we are here for you. I have a certificate from Congresswoman Hayes, if I can read that. Special congressional recognition presented to the family of Roberto Clemente in dedication of the renaming of the Baldwin Street Bridge in memory of baseball legend Roberto Clemente. In his 18 seasons playing with the Pittsburgh Pirates, Roberto was a 2-time World Series champion and from 1961 to 1972 received 12 Golden Glove awards. He was selected as the most valuable player in the 1966 National League and 1971 World Series. Most well known for his 1973 induction as the first Latin American player into the National Baseball Hall of Fame, and for being the 11th player in all of baseball to have 3,000 career hits. Roberto Clemente was dedicated and accomplished baseball player both on and off the baseball field. An activist for racial equality and a humanitarian, Roberto Clemente supported the children and families of Puerto Rico and Latin America in countless ways, from putting bats and gloves into the hands of thousands of children to the humanitarian mission to Nicaragua when his life was tragically cut short. His legacy for service will live on in all whose lives he touched so deeply. In 2003, Roberto Clemente was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the United States. It is with great admiration and gratitude that I join the City of Waterbury in the dedication of the Roberto Clemente Memorial Bridge in remembrance of a baseball legend, activist, and humanitarian who will forever be held high as a pioneer on the field, a man of honor, humility, and commitment to his community, Johanna Hayes. Member of Congress.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So much for coming down.
Okay. And we send our love and appreciation. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ginny. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Lupo. We're going to be giving quite a few, como decimos en hispano, obsequios. We're going to be giving a few gifts and a few recognition pieces. This next one is extremely important to all of us here from Waterbury because it comes from a major league bat manufacturer right here in the city of Waterbury, Tater Bat Company, which is located on Huntington Avenue, on Aurora Street, excuse me. And with me here to present the bat is the owner, Freddie Vargas Jr. and George Tirado Jr.
Hi, real quick. My name is George Tirado. My dad's favorite baseball player was Roberto Clemente Jr. It wasn't until after he passed I realized that every password he had was Roberto Clemente. So his impact on my father was immense, and my father's impact on me and what I believe the Hispanic community back in the day was also immense. And he was very good friends with a lot of people here in the city of Waterbury. And one of those members was the Freddie Vargas Sr. And here we are, 20, 30 years later. His kids is also now a big part of this Hispanic community. As Jerry just stated, the first Hispanic-owned bat company in the major leagues, right here in Waterbury, Connecticut. The family is amazing. These guys work their butt off to be recognized. These people understand what hard work is, and to be housed right here in the city of Waterbury, I think is awesome. And here they are continuing to give to the community. And I'm gonna let Freddie do this, but an amazing piece of Roberto Clemente Jr. And here he is, Freddie. Thank you, sir.
I think it goes without saying that Roberto has had an immense impact, not only on baseball, but on people. And we like to carry that with our brand as we help other Latinos that are trying to make it into the major leagues. So without further ado, I'd like to present this to you. Hands drawn. My pleasure. Absolutely.
Thank you, Freddie Vargas and Georgie. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank all the media that's here today. Without you folks here, we don't get the message out that Roberto Clemente legacy is alive and well, not only in the city of Waterbury, state of Connecticut, but in the entire United States of America. He's a well-known, internationally decorated, and an honorable man who deserves all the accolades 50 years after his death, untimely death. But everything that we're saying here is coming from the heart, and we just can't, we're just humbled that the Clemente family is here, Luis, so we really can't thank you enough for what you've done just to be here. There's 4 days of activity for this family behind us, so we appreciate that they're here. I want to recognize 3 things. I actually would like to have from the Salsa League, Juan Miranda, Izzy Santiago, Alex Santiago, and Tomas Olivo, please come up. And while they're coming up to the Clemente family, I'd like you to know that you also have distant family members, or maybe even closer than you think, right here in Waterbury. On behalf of the Calderon Prado family, guys, please come on up. These folks are related to the Clementes, and you guys, please come on over here on this side. Have the conversation. I think you're a lot closer than you know. So where's my Salsa League men? Please come here. So, para Luis y su familia, my Salsa League men are going to present an exact replica of the sign that's going to be here on I-84 in both directions, as well as on this bridge. So these men, we spent many a days in that dirt at Huntington Park playing for years, and which is now part of the Roberto Clemente field. So I wanted them to come here and do the honors to present the replica to the Clemente family.
Stay here, stay there. There we go.
Wow. That's awesome, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Luz.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you. Hola, ¿cómo están? Bien, bien. Oye, gusto en conocerlo. Nice, yes, indeed. Gracias, gracias.
Thank you for coming to the stadium.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you. And to the Prado Calderon family, thank you very much for coming up. At this point here, I'm going to be very brief. The governor, Ned Lamont, sent a proclamation, which I'm going to give them at the luncheon for the sake of times. And there is also the Waterbury State Delegation led by Joan Hartley, Representative Pizzuto, Representative Napoli, Representative DiGiancarlo, Representative Butler, and myself are honored and privileged to also present a citation for the Clemente family. We are not going to read those here because simply for the sake of time and that there is a time that we are actually honoring here. How am I doing on time, Peter? So far, so good? Thank you. So I want to bring up the leaders from the foundation before we hear from the Clemente family. I want to have Mr. Victor come on up. I want these gentlemen to speak. This is part of the official, the only real official Roberto Clemente Foundation, which is raising funds for the sports city in Puerto Rico. And I want Mr. Victor to speak about this because I think all of us have bought Clemente attire everywhere. Just want you to understand, not much of that money has gone back to the Clemente family. Mr. Victor will explain how and why and how we can help going forward. Please come on up, sir.
Well, thank you. It's a wonderful day to be part of this. As a young man in Puerto Rico, I was dreamed to get to meet Clemente. I never did, but I got the second best thing, was the family. But before I talk about the foundation, I want to tell you a quick story. I went to the Baseball Hall of Fame with Vera and young Ricky's father, Ricky, the youngest son of Clemente. And they took us to the basement where they have all the artifacts that people don't get to see when you go to Cooperstown. And they show a baseball pan that Clemente wore in 1970. And when I looked at it, my reaction was not the way I expected. And so when I look at the uniform, I said, no way that that's Clemente's uniform. And I'm arguing with the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame, and he said, yes, it is, and no, it's not. And we come back and forth. Finally, I felt a soft hand on my left side of my forearm, and Miss Clemente said to me, Roy, yes, that uniform was worn by my husband. And then she described how he looked physically. Later on, I told that story to Manny Sanguillen, a teammate of his, that everybody considered to be his best friend. And I told the story, he said when he was in plain clothes, he looked like any other man. But when he put the uniform on, he was like a giant. And at that very moment, I realized the character of the man. I'm emotional because this is very important. Their foundation, most people when they start with foundation, they start with foundation with a good fund of money. We have been working hard for the last 15 years. We took out the foundation for nothing. People like you make it happen. But his character is so big that all you guys wearing is your jersey today. All you're here. Every Puerto Rican and American and international would drive through this bridge, knowing that April 1st, in 1973, the first namesake in Clemente was all the way in Mannheim, Germany. That Africa has coins, dollar bills, street clinics, Central America, South America. And sometimes it takes us 50 years to recognize a man that's been recognized around the world. Because everybody recognizes his character. So the foundation needs your help. RobertoClementeFoundation.com. Today we had a baseball clinic at the Yard Goats. Thanks to Peter and the Yard Goats and the Alumni Association. And I'm going to tell you, we had over 150 kids, plus parents. We had about at least 600 people there. And one of the players told me today, he said, this is the standard of clinics. He said he goes around those clinics all the time. But everything we do is based on four things. Four things. His character, his faith, his leadership, and his dream. His dream for every kid to have an opportunity to get educated, to follow their dreams, to be able to go to a place that would later on Vera Clemente established as a sports city to follow their dreams in the educational way. But you know what? That dream never stopped. Vera started that in 1973. Now, Luis and the kids and the family have taken the baton from her as she is in the presence of the Lord and continue to do the same thing that she did. She started in April and up on the accidents. 5 days after the accident happened, she established Sports City. You want to keep his legacy alive? Go to the foundation website. Help us to keep that legacy alive. God bless you.
Muchas gracias, Victor. Thank you very much. We're going to do two quick things. Let me hold this, sir. I also would like to present the president of the foundation. So please have a few words on the Roberto Clemente Foundation.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here again as representative and the president of the foundation. It is our pleasure to be here at this event and this appropriate renaming. Earlier, the mayor's remarks about when people drive across the bridge and they see the name Roberto Clemente and you have children in the car, it is important that you guys look up and have children always look up, research, and see the person, not just the player. We talked about, of course, 15-time All-Star, 12 Gold Gloves, 4-time batting champion, 2-time MVP, World Series, etc. We know he was a great, great player, but he was a much, much better person and humanitarian. So make sure that this legacy lives on. That's what the foundation does through works, certainly through clinics. We had a great one there today in Hartford with the yard goats, and there'll be celebrations tonight. We do clinics. We do humanitarian service work, making sure people who are food insecure get food, servicing veterans who need help, former ball players. The foundation does lots of work. You can check our website. But again, it's most important that you have children learn about Roberto, what he was, the legacy that Vera kept on, and now that the family continues to keep on, that the foundation does. We owe a great debt of gratitude to the elected officials here, Representative Lopez, Alderman Reyes, Mayor O'Leary, and the Congresswoman for all of what they've done also, the elected officials who are keeping this legacy alive. We thank all the elected officials, but most importantly, we thank you. We thank the members of the Hispanic Federation and this community for all the great work that you do and what you are doing to keep the legacy alive. So thank you very much. But again, teach the children. They've got to keep learning as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much for those kind words. I'd like to just acknowledge quickly again, and I started speaking about the media. Really, really important. This is how we get the message out for our children and our children's children. It's about teaching respect, character, and the culture that we have here as proud Puerto Ricans and Hispanics in the United States of America. I want to thank the Connecticut Jeep Club. Please, let's give a round of applause for these beautiful Jeeps that lined up the streets and always say presente when we ask for them. Thank you very much for bringing us and showcasing these beautiful Jeeps. We're going to ask Luis and his family to step over and unveil, and then we'll close with remarks from Luis Roberto Clemente. As Luis Clemente is making his way up to the podium, reminding everybody tomorrow in Hartford, the Puerto Rican Parade, desfile puertorriqueño en Hartford, mañana la parada empieza a las 11 y el Festival de Coquí a las 5, a la 1 de la tarde en el Parque Bushnell en el Capitolio. 1 o'clock, Festival de Coquí en Hartford para ir a Charlie Aponte y varios músicos que van a estar ahí. Lo dejo con Roberto Luis Clemente.
Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here with all of you, honoring my father and their grandfathers, my son Luis Roberto Jr., and also my nephew. We call him Ricky, Roberto Enrique Clemente. He's the son of my younger brother, Ricky. With us as well, my lovely wife, Olga, Ricky's girlfriend, Diana, over here. And I cannot express how honored I am to be here with all of you today, how much I thank Representative Gerardo Reyes, Assemblyman Lopez, the Mayor, O'Leary, Neil O'Leary, the Congresswomen. I appreciate Johanna Hayes for this honor. Coming from Dunkin' Donut Park, from having just conducted a clinic, is what we continue to do, is what our mother taught us, to keep that legacy, the Clemente legacy, in such a way that we understood the greatness of what it represents, but to understand how humble you must be to not to let it to get to your head, to treat everyone equally, to not think you're better than anyone. And that's what we do. That's our lifestyle, impacting other lives, making sure that people understand what they represent in their community. The very reason I started coming to Hartford, and the first time I did, we made a stop in Waterbury. I went to the Clemente ballpark as well. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget how many kids I got to see, boys and girls, playing baseball, softball, and how that is still being recognized. And I want to call two gentlemen that haven't been mentioned, but that's the actual reason I started coming up. And it's because they used to tell me every 31st of December what they do, going to Colt Park under the snow with people bringing out the memorabilia they have to honor Dad. I said, you guys are crazy. It's snowing. What are you guys doing? And I says, you know what? It's impossible. That date, imagine, the 31st of December, is a day where for 50 years we've been going to the same spot, the point of reference to the accident, to do the flower offerings since the first day. Now, there's resolutions by the following month, hopefully, September. We will hear from the Secretary of the Interior if they decided to honor and have that place register and belong to the National Registry of Historical Places. Thanks to cities and states that issued resolutions to order the Secretary of the Interior to do that, right? I have Tom Raspel to thank for all the efforts he's put behind it. But in general, I would like to call Peter and Alex Mercado to join me here. All right. So Alex is a teacher at the Roberto Clemente School. Peter runs Los Amigos tournament and league, softball tournament, and year after year, they contacted me, they reached out, and I said, guys, the dates are too tough. If we do something, at a different date, so everyone has to give them a big round of applause.
Yeah.
Because they're the reason.
Yes.
People like them that are leaders in the community, that care and take action, make things happen. They brought the Clemente family to Hartford. And Gerardo, all the efforts he does, we've known each other for a long time. And what you do and represent for Waterbury is the reason we're here today as well. So we thank everyone for this honor. Le agradecemos de corazón porque de verdad para nosotros es muy importante que ustedes, donde quiera que se reconozca a Roberto Clemente, nosotros siempre estaremos. Quizás nos tome un poquito de tiempo por los compromisos que tenemos todos los años, porque son muchos los lugares, es mucho lo que hacemos. Acabamos de realizar unas clínicas en Puerto Rico en el pueblo de Hormigueros y en Bayamón. Hace 2 semanas atrás estamos aquí, acabamos de hacer una clínica espectacular esta mañana con los Yard Goats. Llevamos más de 5 años viniendo aquí a Connecticut y les agradecemos a todos ustedes, todos ustedes. I was able to honor not just Dad, because through Dad, we always honor our culture. People ask me, were you able to play? I wasn't always this heavy. I used to be 28 waistline when I signed with the Pirates many years ago, back in '85. And as I was waiting for my room assignment, I was told I was going to be a second baseman. I never ever played second in my life, so I had to do that. But many adjustments and many things happened where I could not continue to play after 2 years. And people ask me, I says, you know what? The blessings of not having to play and maybe not becoming a big leaguer is that I have been able to reach and impact so many other lives on behalf of our father's legacy. And I've had the opportunity, perhaps, at Cooperstown to also have my story, embedded into history in Cooperstown, because Dad, I don't know if you know that Dad's plaque had the last name inverted. So the plaque read Roberto Walker Clemente instead of Roberto Clemente Walker. And on a casual conversation, without knowing, I was talking to the father of the new president of the Hall of Fame, Eugene Petrosky. He says, well, I know someone that can help you with that. And then he introduced me to his son, Dale Petrosky. When I explained that it was a culture, it was not just a mistake, it was a cultural mistake, right? And that needed to be corrected because in our culture, we carry our mother's maiden name. And in honor of our mothers, we honor our mothers by carrying their second name. And that is what they were correcting. And they were honoring our culture. So that was the element that actually made that happen. So I am very proud to be Roberto and Vera's son. Vera's son. He deserves all the credit for all that continues and the relevance of having Roberto Clemente's legacy still alive. It was because of her, what she did, and she continued to do, how she raised us, and she made sure that we understood and we continue to protect that legacy. My message to all of you, my deepest and heartfelt appreciation. We will always, always cherish this moment, and we'll continue to visit Waterbury and Hartford, Connecticut. Thank you, and God bless.
También tenemos un gran amigo aquí, un colega que también es maestro retirado. Quiero reconocerlo, el caballero Julio Concepción de Hartford, que también es parte de la liga y es uno de los caballeros que más conoce de Roberto Clemente. That concludes our ceremony on the bridge. Please be careful driving off the bridge and into the streets. And otra vez, con Dios adelante se puede hacer mucho. Miren dónde estamos, enfrente de la cruz. Miren dónde estamos. Es por algo. Dios lo está esperando a nosotros siempre y lo protege. Lo dejamos con la música de Marc Anthony.